Hello, I'm Dr. Red Bull Racing and welcome to my next vlog, which is about Ricciardo being disqualified from the Australian Grand Prix, where he had a fantastic finish of second place, podium, fantastic, his maiden podium, until it was taken away from him later on. And as of today, on Thursday, Red Bull Racing have officially launched an appeal against the decision to disqualify him. And yeah, it's going to go to the FIA courts. I've forgotten its exact title, but it was the one similar to the one where Mercedes went to last year when they got the testing thing, the Testgate scandal. So yeah, so it'll be going to that, and it'll be judged by an independent panel. I believe that's the process which they're going to do. I think that's where they're going. Yeah, it's a very technical story. There's lots of technicalities, this and this and this. I've had it explained to me once in full, but something as advanced as that, it takes a few times for it to register on what's going on. But I'm going to try my best and explain what's gone on, and yeah, hopefully bring things clearer. And I've gotten an opinion on it, and hopefully I can try and shine some light on it. So essentially, Ricciardo, they've got this sensor in the car which monitors the fuel rate, you know, how much fuel they're using, and there's only so much they can use, and these sensors are monitoring how much they're using. Now, it's a well-known fact that these sensors, and I've forgotten their name, should have done some research, but you know, it's kind of rushed together, but these sensors are it's accepted up and down the paddock that these sensors are really faulty and unreliable. It's immature technology, as it was described by Christian Horner, and yeah, so it's widely accepted down the paddock that these sensors aren't very good and not a good source to monitor these rate of fuel. And essentially, they realised on the Red Bull car on the Friday that Ricciardo, and maybe Vettel's too, I'm not too sure about Vettel's, but Ricciardo's sensor on his car was faulty. It was wrong. There was something wrong with it. It was unreliable. The information which it was given was false. It was wrong. So the FIA went, oh, okay, so they took the sensor off. But then it turns out for the race, they put the sensor back on, the faulty one, and then they made some changes around it. Again, this is a bit of a blur, a bit of a cloud, what's gone on, but apparently they made some changes to the sensor, and they said to Red Bull on race day, look, you've got to follow this mapping, you've got to, this is how much fuel you should consume on lap 1, lap 2, lap 3, lap 4, so on. And Red Bull looked at it and they thought, well, that's really conservative. Red Bull and Renault, shall we say, they looked at it and no, that's not the optimum pace, that's wrong. And it was clearly, they was going off this faulty sensor, the FIA, there's clearly looking at what this faulty sensor was telling them, and therefore it was going to significantly compromise their race. And with engines being so significant, and with Renault being on the back foot so particular, they're looking to optimize every single area which they can for performance. And they looked at this guidelines which the FIA gave them, and completely ignored it, which is accepted by Red Bull, which they've noted. And they've gone by their own accord, and the race is finished. Ricciardo's had a fantastic race, a really good race for him, and they've printed the sheet off, Red Bull, of their fuel consumption. And if you look at it, it's in black and white. I don't have it on me at the moment, but if you look at it, it's completely fine. It's the fuel consumption was well within the regulations. They didn't overdo it. Not at all, it was just right, it was fine. Red Bull's reading was absolutely fine, and they've got it in black and white, and that's their evidence which they're going to take to the courts. But you know, the FIA have turned around and said, no, you didn't follow our false and unreliable reading which we have from the dodgy sensor, so therefore they disqualified him, which is disappointing. A lot of people are going to turn around and say, well, you know, FIA, they're the laws, you know, they're the rulers of the law. You know, if you don't follow what they do, then, you know, if you don't abide by the rules, then that's it, you're out. Well, not quite, because if you remember a year ago, I've forgotten what it's called, but there's another sort of system on your car which it tells you when there's yellow flags. So if there's yellow flags, it will tell you not to use your DRS, not to do this, not to do that. If there's a red flag, or if somebody's gone off, you know, there was a system which the FIA had to tell everybody about those yellow flags and whether to slow down, not to do purple sectors and so on. But that was faulty as well, if you remember. It was about a year ago. I don't know if you remember it, and it took a handful of races for them to fix it. And if you remember during the China race, when there was I can't remember. I think there might have been a safety car or something, but there was an accident on the straight, and there were 7 cars. I remember it because I remember Vettel being one of them, whereby they used the DRS when it wasn't supposed to. But the teams went back and said, "Look, this system which you've given us is faulty." You know, so you know, we used DRS and we wasn't even told. The sensor wasn't even telling us. So because of that, because of the unreliability of the sensor, the FIA pardoned them. They went, oh, "Okay, fair enough. You're right. You know, we messed up. You know, the system which we've given you in order to denote whether you can use your DRS on the yellows, or whether it's yellows or whether it's green flags, is faulty. So therefore, we'll let you off. It's fine, and forget about it." And those sanctions, even though technically the rules were broken, they were pardoned. And it's, to me, exactly the same situation with this fuel situation with Ricciardo. But the FIA have got a faulty system on the Red Bull car and on other cars as well. But unfortunately, you know, he's been punished, and it's, at the end of the day, it's Ricciardo who's lost out, really. That's a real shame, because he had a fantastic debut, and you know, and home debut as well. It's his home race. It was really sad to see that something so stupid and, you know, something unreliable, which has ultimately cost him a good debut for Red Bull Racing. But hey, that's my opinion, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and I hope it's provided you a bit of an insight. If it has, give the video a like, drop a comment if you wish, and subscribe for some more videos, and hopefully I'll see you very soon.